All right, let's hear it, Tampa Bay.
The hottest city in America. It makes you absolutely world class. A national map of sustainable communities.
It all starts in Tampa.
This is the stuff that makes Tampa the place you want to live. For the win.
Hi everybody, I'm Greg Ross-Munro, and I'd like to talk to you today a little bit about nerd culture and the perils of nerd ITism. Yeah, so I'm a nerd. I can prove this. This is a picture of me in my custom-made, authentic, circa 1960s Captain Kirk uniform. I've been programming since I was about 8 years old, and I run a group of programmers for a living, so I think I know what I'm talking about. Oh, this is my old slide deck. Thanks, guys. I'll try and talk over it anyway. So, nerds are a strange, smart group of people who, up until fairly recently, were kept in basements, working with pocket protectors and slide rules on things that were relatively complicated and weren't very practical for everybody's life. But things have started to change. Starting in about the 1970s, what we found was that computers started infiltrating the workplace. That we would have, by the 1980s, the computers infiltrating the home. That's when I started to learn to program. What happens with the culture around that is that you can't ask a fish, "Hi, Mr. Fish, how's the water?" It's the same kind of question that it would take to ask somebody what the culture that they live in is like. Also, it'd be pretty weird to ask a fish a question. Hope you like my joke about the font. So, imagine a situation where you have two people trying to organize something. You have maybe an account manager and a programmer. And what they're talking about is how to build an accounting system. Now, the problem is that they both think that they're coming from the same standpoint. They're coming from a point of view where they both speak the same language, where they both, have the same cultural background, and they have the same expectations, but they don't. Nerds are different. We have our own specific set of cultural ideals and values. We have our own shared communication models. If you guys don't know what PEBCAC is, look it up, it's pretty funny. Thank you for laughing. But if you don't know what it's about, that's kind of a cultural barrier there. And whenever two cultures come into contact with each other, whether it's the Aztecs and the Mayans, or the conquistadors, or if it's the account manager and the programmer, there's going to be a train wreck. The thing is that we don't listen to each other. We're generally xenophobic. We have these kind of inherent stranger dangers. It's just human nature. You all know this guy, Nick Burns, right? The computer guy from Saturday Night Live. Yeah, comes into your office, he treats you like an idiot, he's obnoxious, he's hard to work with. Something doesn't go right, he just says, "Murph!" Fixes whatever you're working on. And the problem is that Nick's a computer nerd. And these kind of problems and miscommunication cost millions of dollars for businesses every year in things like scope creep, bad projects, things that, just fall over. But traditionally, nerds are very difficult people to manage, right? Because IT people and managers in general are not taught to manage the cultural differences between us. They're taught to manage systems. They're not handling the actual communication between people who speak tech and people who don't. But there are ways around this. Other organizations, other businesses, other walks of life have taken rules from things like anthropology and taken management science and psychology, and they've put them into frameworks that we can use. And what I'm recommending here today, what I'm advocating, is that we change the way we teach information systems management. If we look at it from a standpoint of a cultural awareness, the same way you would take a sales team who is going to Japan and you're going to teach them to bow correctly, and you're going to teach them not to stick their chopsticks in their rice, then how the Japanese would be practicing smiling and shaking hands. If we can take that same attitude and apply it to IT management with a little bit of energy and a whole lot of luck, I think we can make it happen. So thank you very much.